Hi, welcome back to Bioenergetics. My name's Devaraj, and today we're going to look at some pillow bashing, or to put it in a wider context, emotional catharsis, basically. And I see people bashing cushions and getting a bit of release, and we all read stories back in the 90s about Japanese executives going to the basement and screaming at some effigy of the boss or whatever. And so I think for a lot of people these days, it's like the notion in our society of making sound to express sound has become more acceptable, in the sense that it's okay to kind of release a bit. When I started to do workshops back about 15-20 years ago, it was less okay, and now it feels like it's a bit more okay, it's a bit more accepted socially, to make some sound and to express and to bash a cushion and get some vent, some frustration, get it out. And so a lot of people are starting to do this stuff, and it's great. And also, if you're trained or very experienced with emotional catharsis, there's a few really useful things to know, because you will always get some level of release when you make sound, but it can be much deeper with a bit of extra knowledge. So the first thing to say with catharsis is there are three key elements, and the first one is movement, then breath, and then making a sound. Three elements, basically. And if you miss out on some of these, you're not going to get such a release. Pretty much everyone will make some level of movement, and breathing, maybe yes, maybe no, but breathing through the mouth is generally good when you want to release, generally. And thirdly, sound is very important. Sound really allows release. I see a lot of people doing some cushion bashing, and they're not really making any sound. And it can be that you might be in a place where you can't make sound, so fair enough. You do what you can. But even a little bit of sound is good. And generally with screaming or sound making, if you're doing it to try and get a release, you want to try and shout from down here in your belly. It's like screaming up here. You will get a bit of mental release or something, but or shouting from your chest up here, you feel like a sort of big, strong gorilla. But to really get a release, you need to get into the kind of what Arthur Yanov used to call the primal knot down here in the gut. So you want to get as low as you can, and you may have judgments that you can't get so low, but you just do it. You do it to the best that you can, and that's all you can do. It's totally fine. So movement, breath, and sound are the key elements. And if we're looking at pillow bash, it's important to get a certain stretch in the body, because this helps to get a release from the shoulders and the arms and the chest. So here's a cushion I've got, and of course you need a cushion that you can whack. This is like a little meditation cushion I bought off eBay, and for about 15 quid, and it's got some kind of, I don't know what they put in it, some kind of hulls of something or something, anyway, bits of shell or something like that, and it's quite good for bashing. In a sense, it's probably not ideal, because if I kept on bashing it for a long time, it would probably break open, and it's quite a nice cushion. I think it should cost 30 or 40 quid, so it's not really ideal in that sense. You just need a cheap kind of cushion that's got a bit of solidity to it, really. Because what you don't want to do is hurt yourself. And also you'll notice that certain things just feel better to whack, They just feel better, you get more satisfaction. So it needs to be insulated enough that you don't hit the floor. And you don't hurt yourself. It hasn't got any funny things on the outside that you can whack yourself. And then I have a little something yoga mat here, just to put on my knees so I can sit on it. And then a good position to do this in is to stretch right up and stretch back with your arms, right? Open your body as you stretch up. Open your body right up. Each time you come up, I put my fists, like gentle fists, side by side, basically. Side by side. If you're going to interlock your fingers, if you come down really hard, you're going to hurt your fingers. You don't want to do that. So this is just a suggestion. Stretch right back and then come down and make some level of sound as you hit the cushion, like, no! 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 I'm doing it in a way that is kind of like when you're practicing stating boundaries. You do it with a no. It's a very primitive sound. And trying to make that sound quite deep. You don't need to make a lot of sound, It's like, it's actually okay with release, just to try and hit the belly point as you do it and make a little bit of a grunt, something like that. So it can just be like what's important, like I said, is that you bring your arms right up, stretch right back each time. This is a key thing in bioenergetics when you're doing it for release. You might find if there's a lot of energy there that you really start to get into it and you're not bending all the way back, and that's okay. You know, it might go a bit like, you know, you really are quite pissed off about something. You don't start like that, but you just feel it as you start, and you might sort of go, you know, that's okay. It's okay. If you're in it, you're in it. So I feel a bit better after doing that. Of course, it's also important, the cushion's going to lose its shape as you start whacking it. You might need to, you know, don't get so into it that you end up hurting yourself. You need to plump the cushion or whack it in a different place or turn it over. Go and do that. Anyway, this has been a brief video introduction to pillow bashing and emotional catharsis in general. And I'll be back next week with another bioenergetic exercise. Great, thanks for watching. Bye for now.